Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing Pearl Jam discography, and they have 11 studio albums, arguably the biggest grunge band of the 90s, maybe besides Nirvana. Some may argue with that. But yeah, they expanded after their big grunge days with Tin, Vitality, and Versus to Neil Youngish type of stuff and alt rock. They're still freaking great at that stuff, and a little bit of garage rock as well. But yeah, we'll be ranking all their studio albums, only studios, and not like Lost Dogs or their live albums or the Jeremy EP. So all we're doing today is all the studio albums. Coming in at number 11 will be Lightning Bolt. This is about when they were going to their pop rock stuff, getting a little bit more different and not big and loud, but he still has a lot of loud songs on this album, with Mind Your Manners, The Getaway, Let the Records Play, they're all good, and also Sirens is a little good pop rock tune. But overall, it's just really bland and not the Pearl Jam I would listen to, but still, it's a good album. I give it a 3 out of 5, but pretty mediocre, I would say, even though it's still a good album. But yeah, that's coming to number 11, 3 out of 5. Number 10 will be their new album, their most recent album, Gigaton. By far, it's the most experimental stuff ever. The most experimental album they did since No Code. And there's a lot of good stuff on this album, like Whoever Said, Super Blood Wolf Moon. What are some other songs on that album? Alright, it's a good tune. I think I'm missing the others. Shoot. Oh yeah, Never Destination, all good songs. I think it's a good album, but it's a little too experimental for me. I don't really like my sound. I don't think my sound's experimental, really. Like, I didn't really enjoy Dance of the Clairvoyance that much. Kind of too crazy for me, I would say. But yeah, overall, it's 3 out of 5 album. 3.5 album. Number 9 will be Backspacer. A lot of Pearl Jam fans seem to enjoy this album a fair good amount, which I really understand, because there's a lot of friggin' bangers on this album. Like, Going to See My Friend, the freaking masterpiece of The Fixer, Just Breathe, Got Some, The End. All good songs. But it's a little bit too much of the same, I would say. Like, it's still samey. But overall, it's still a good album. Also, the cover kind of looks like No Code to me. It looks like a No Code type of stuff. But yeah, it's still a great album, 3.5 out of 5. And coming in at number 8 will be Avocado, self-titled record. It's still a great album, but it's kind of like, it suffers the same with Backspacer. It's a little too different. A little bit too the same. Kind of more same than the other one. But the first 2 tracks on this album, Life Wasted and Worldwide Suicide, some of their best 2000 stuff they will ever make. And some other songs like Comatose, Marker in the Sand, Come Back, Inside Job, Unemployed, all great songs right there. But the real only ones that stand out will be Come Back, Inside Job, and the previous 2, Life Wasted and Worldwide Suicide. All great. Overall, 3.5 out of 5 on that record. And number, I believe it's number 7, will be Binaural. A lot of Pearl Jam fans don't seem to enjoy this record. Like, some really do not like this album. I think it's fine. I'll say at first I really didn't like it, because I think the presence of Brendan O'Brien, the producers of the last 5 Pearl Jam albums, is missing on this. With I think some other producer named Adam Casbier, is Binaural Method, which is named with the album, is this weird, don't really sound like Pearl Jam, but still a lot of great songs in this thing. Like the opener, Break or Fall, God's Dice, Nothing As It Seems is so Pink Floyd, Of the Girl, Grievance, Soon Forget's a good ukulele song. But yeah, it's a good record. 3.5 out of 5. Now we are getting to the very good stuff. And this one's very controversial, but I love this record. Number 6 will be Reutech. A lot of great songs. Very underrated, but I really do understand that people don't like this album. I really do understand, because it's just boring, I guess, some people, but I love this album. With like, the opener, Can't Keep is very good. Save You is one of my all-time favorite Pearl Jam songs. Love Boat Captain is freaking so good. Crop Duster is a good psychedelic song. Ghost is a good little more after the last two songs. I Am Mine, probably one of the greatest 2000 songs ever written by them. Thumbing My Way is my second favorite on this album. You Are is a good little weird but very like swampy type of song. I really like that song. Green Disease is another great tune. Help is an alright song, and a more psychedelic and very, very weird. Then we get the Bush Leaguer, which is another very psychedelic song, art rock type of stuff. Very political, of course. George Bush. Very good song, though. And then we get a little bit bluesy here with Half Full. A very good, I believe it's a Jeff Ament tune. Arc is there. And then All Nuns, great closer. Overall, a 5 out of 5 record. Perfect. Very controversial, but it's a great record. Very misunderstood. But I understand, it's kind of boring, I guess, to some people. Coming in on number 5, No Code. Again, very misunderstood record, but I do see some people that are fans of this record along with me. But I like a lot of just great, like, classic Pearl Jam songs on here. Let me find them real quick. Sometimes is probably one of the weakest songs. Like starting, like they usually start very well. It's kind of soft and not as punky as the last three openers of the last 3 albums, but it's still a good tune. Then we get into Hail Hail, amazing song. Like sometimes leading to Hail Hail is just so perfect. Then Who You Are is a good little psychedelic jam. Then we get into My Tree. It's freaking drums and I believe Jack Irons on this record. It's amazing. Smile's a great Neil Young-ish type of tune. Then we get more Neil Young-ish stuff with Off He Goes. Then a little more punk garage rock with Habit. Red Mosquitoes, more blues, country stuff there. Lucan is a little good scream fest of about 1 minute long. Present Tense is a very good song. It used to be one of my favorite, but it's kind of fell down because I listened to it so many times on Spotify. Mankind, we get another punk rock song, but it's probably the worst on this record. Then we get in I'm Open, which is a spoken word type of stuff. I really love that song for some reason. This really makes you feel something, but it's a great song. Then we get to Close Around the Bend, which is about Jack, like a lullaby to Jack Irons' son. But then Eddie Vedder wanted to change the meaning a little bit later after the song was written to a serial killer lullaby to his next victim, which is pretty interesting, I would say. Overall, 85 out of 5 record, of course. Then we get into number 4, which is Vitality. Yeah, Vitality. They're a great record, of course. Every single, I'm going to stop saying great records because the next three or four is just so good. But yeah, a lot of good songs on this record. Like some of the best like they'll ever make would be like the opener of Last Exit. And then we get into the freaking post-hardcore type stuff with Spin the Black Circle. Then we get into a little post-grunge, not really grunge, but post-grunge with like Not For You. German Christ is one of my favorite on this album. Then Nothing Man's great slow song. Then get into Whipping, which is another good tune. I like some of the weird stuff on here, like Pride 2. I can listen to that, won't be mad about that. Corduroy is another great song, one of their best grunge songs ever write. Then we get into Bugs, which I still love this song. I understand if you don't like that song, but I love that song. Also, Satan's Bed, another one I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't like, but I love the drumming on that song. I believe Gimme something, it wasn't Dave at the time, but it was some guy named Jimmy that drummed on that song. He did very good on that song. Then we get Ayadava. I don't even want to say that word. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, that song, very weird, very. Oh, I don't know. I scrapped that song. Oh yeah, I just skipped the song. My bad. Better Man, the best song on this record, arguably the best song on the record. I skipped that song. My bad. You want to get into that song I'm just talking about? That I Got song, kind of weird. Probably the worst. The second worst on this. Then we get Immortality. I think it's about Kurt. He said it was, and I mean, it's too obvious. Come on, it's about Kurt. Then we get into the worst Pearl Jam song, in my opinion, if you want to count it as a song, is Hey Fox Mom, what do you call it? Foxy Mom, Hey No Mama, that's me, aka Stupid Mop. Their worst song they'll ever release. I'm not even sure if that's even a song. But yeah, overall, it's a 5-star record, even though with Stupid Mop. I think the highest of that record is insanely high. So I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Number 3 would be Versus. Another great record by a great band. Go is arguably my favorite opener they'll ever open with on the album. Then it gets Animal, which I think is kind of weak. I don't know why. I heard it way too many times, I'm pretty sure that's why. But I kind of wanted a slow jam after Go, which is very insane. Then we kind of get into funky toast of Animal and punk. Then we get into Daughter, which is one of their best songs ever wrote, probably. Then we get into the goofy, like, redneck type of stuff with Glorified G, which is about a gun. Something about a pellet gun. Then we get into Dissident, which is one of their best guitar riffs they ever write. That good, so good. Then we get to YMA, which is probably the time when this song was released. I understand we wouldn't like that, but now it's kind of like it's very similar to what the world is like now. And then we get in arguably their hardest song ever write, is Blood, which is a great funky punk rock record. Song. Rearview Mirror is probably the best song on this album. It's so good live, so good on this record. Very good grunge song. Can't believe that wasn't a single. Rats is probably the worst song on this album. A little too funky for me, for Pearl Jam. Then we get to Early Woman, etc., etc. At one point, it was my favorite Pearl Jam song. At one point, probably. It's still great to me, but it's just not the best anymore. It's still great, though. Leash, probably the hardest song on this. Nah, not really Blood. But yeah, it's one of the hardest songs they ever write. Very good. It's also a very good live song for them. Then we get into Indifference, which is one of their greatest closers. Overall, a great punk rock, grunge, metal record. Then we get into number 2. Will it be Yield or 10? 10. Now, this is probably most, like, for Pearl Jam fans, it's probably their number 1 or number 2, or maybe even a farther down in that. It's a great record. It was my favorite record by Pearl Jam for a long time to explore them. Then became a really big fan of them. With the opener of Once is an insane song about a guy going insane. What's going on over there? Sounds like a beehive over there. But yeah, then we get into Flow. Classic Pearl Jam song right there, with another classic Pearl Jam song with a live, one of my favorite solos ever. Then we get into Why Go, another good little funk punk rock song. Then we get into my favorite Pearl Jam song ever, Black. So good. For a while, I was just singing the crap out of that song. It was so good. Such a badass song. Then we get into Journey. Also, I'd like to say, this album is so dark. Like, it's so dark. So dark. Like, with Journey, about a kid shooting himself in front of his classmates in Texas around 1991. Then we get to Oceans. Probably the weakest song on this album, but it's still pretty good. Porch, another great song. Live with Eddie Vedder climbing on top of the freaking concert stage. It's so good live. Arguably better live than on this record, it's so freaking great. Then we get into Garden. And there's like a post-rock, little slow jam. Then we get into Deep. Another freaking very good grunge song, obviously about his deep voice. Then we get into one of their best slow jams they'll ever write, Release. They're a great one live. 5 out of 5, of course. Now we get to number 1. Maybe a little controversial, maybe, but it's Yield. Come on, it's Yield. It's one of the best albums in the 90s. It's so good, with like the opener, Brain of J. Then we get into Brain of J is one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs. Then we get into Faithful, another great song. Then what's after Faithful? No Way, a little weird song. Still love that song though. It's so good. Then we get into Given to Fly, one of the best guitar rhythm guitarists ever. One of the greatest of all time. Sounding like Led Zeppelin, of course. Then we get into Wishlist, which is one of their best slow jams of all time as well. Then we get into Pilot, which is another little weird, I don't know what we'll call it, I guess all rock song. Probably the worst on the record, besides one of the songs which I mentioned. Now, the best song on the record, Do the Evolution. Love the music video to it. Love the song. It's so good. I can't describe how good that song is. It's so good. Then we get into Red Bar. You can call it Color Red, whatever you can call it. It's another good Jack Irons song. Then we get right into Mini Fast Car, aka MFC. Little good tune. And then we get into Low Light, a good little psychedelic song, very good acoustic rock song. Then we get into, I believe, what's after Low Light? Shoot, I forgot what after Low Light. Shit. Low Light. I believe it is, what's after All Those Yesterdays? It's probably the worst on the record, I can't remember it. But yeah, Low Light. It's a good song. Good lyrics to it. Also, then we get into what is it? In Hiding. Yeah, that's a song that's a very good song there. It's probably the most all rock song they ever write. It's very all rocky, but I still love that song. Then we get into I believe it is All Those Yesterdays. One of their best closers of all time. Love that song. Also like the little hidden track for it, Hummus. They're a great song. Of course, a 5 out of 5 record. One of the best records of the 90s. Absolutely love that song. I mean, the song that I was talking about. And also, the entire album. It's perfect. But yep, great record. Great records all overall. And hope you enjoyed the video. I surely enjoyed going over these albums again and listening to them in my life. Great band, great albums with great songs. Really recommend you to go and look through their albums because it's a journey and a very, very good journey. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Like if you liked it, and see y'all later for the next video.